Welcome to Couple Crush. In today's video, you are going to learn how to cut the trousers. In our previous video, you must have learned how to cut a senator top and how to take measurements of these trousers. So, in today, we are going to learn how to cut. These are the measurements that we need in cutting the trousers. We have the waist, the hips, the thigh, the knee, the ankle, the length, and the crotch measurements. To obtain this crotch measurement, what you need to do is to divide the hips by 4, and it gives us 10 inches. Then for the front part of the crotch width, I take 10 inches minus 0.5 inches, which gives me 9.5, and for the back part, I've added 0.5, it gives me 10.5 inches. The reason being that the front part of any human being is smaller, while the back part that contains the buttocks is bigger. That is why I have decided to make it this way. This will give us the perfect trousers for men. Then for female, you may decide to increase or decrease depending on the size of the person. Then for the knee length, as I've showed you in the previous video, you may not need to take the length measurements. That's the knee length measurements. All you need to do is to divide the full length by 2 to plus 1.5. Some people may take 1 inch depending on that. Mine is 1.5 inches. That gives us 39 being the full length divided by 2 plus 1.5 is 21 inches. So let us cut it properly. So this is my start line. I have ruled across the length. This is where I start the measurement. Coming down is 10 inches for the crotch line, and I have here 21 inches for the knee line, then 39 inches for the ankle. That's the length of the trousers, and 2 inches for hemming allowance. So this is the front part, and I have measured out on the waistline the 9.5 inches for the front. Remember, for the back I have 10 inches. So for the front I have here 9.5 inches, and that's the same measurement I'm placing over here to connect the lines together. So after drawing out that, I'll come to this waistline and measure the normal waist that I have, since I am attaching no darts on the trousers. So the waist of the trouser is 8.75. After calculating it, that's dividing it by 4. So I have marked out the 8.75 here. I have no darts in the front part. So coming down to this crotch line, I place a mark 1 inch above the crotch line. Then connect these two together. Now you have created a slant here. Then the next thing, on the hem line, this is the hem line and this is the allowance. So on the hem line, place 1.5 inches on the hem line. That's 1.5 inches. Then from this 1.5 inches mark, you are going to take it down to 1 inch before the crotch line. So it's going to be on a straight line. So if you have a straight ruler, place it and connect the line from the hem to this point. So using the straight ruler, you create a straight line. On the hemming line, you will now place your ankle. That's the inches that you had. Mine was 14 inches, so I have 7 here. This is where I'm measuring from. That's from that 1.5 inches line that I created. I have my 14 inches, that's 7 here, and I place a mark. Then coming over to the knee line, this is the knee line. So my knee, as we had seen earlier, was 18 inches divided by 2. 18 inches divided by 2 gives us 9. So mark it out. Then you have to connect the markings. That's both this line that you have created to the ankle here. So you have to connect it with also a straight ruler. So what you need to do is about maybe 5 inches up. If you want the trousers to have a nice shape, you can decide to make it equal in this down part, but it is not really necessary in this one because the person that I'm making this trouser for is not too large. So as such, using a straight line will not disturb in the marking. After connecting a straight line, let us move over to the crotch. Here at the crotch, you need to create your crotch extension. Mine is going to be 1.5 inches, but for you, you can take 2 inches. I have a reason for taking 1.5 inches here. So from that 1.5 inches up here, I have 2 inches. Then you can connect it. Don't make it too curved. Just curve it out this way. Sorry for the background noise. It's already raining over here. But let's go on with the video. So after connecting this curve, all you need to do is to take this either with your curve ruler or with your straight hand. Just take it. First of all, you may start with using your straight ruler this way. Then you can now curve it a little bit. Not too much. Not too much. Just a little. This way. Alright. So that is what we have there. Then on the waistline, you will create a slant. Some people may take it 1 inch depending on how wide the person is. But for me, I'm taking 0.75. And here is what I have, 0.75. Then I'll connect this line to about 1 inch before the first line that I had. So I won't connect it straight here, so I do not cause any shortage in this part when I finish joining it. Instead, I'll connect it to the 1 point mark here. That's 1 inch mark here. This way. So by doing this, I have created a slant. Then what I need to do is to cut it out. I'm going to follow this mark here. Follow this mark here. Cut out the crotch and follow it down to the hem. Then before cutting the hem, what I'll do here is to fold it over this way. I'll fold it over this way. Then I'll cut it out. By so doing, I'll have a nice hem that will lap with what I have. So I'm starting it here. Let me start from the hem. So that when you open it up, it gives this shape here. So that's what I will do, draw out the whole trouser, the front part of it. So after cutting out the front part, this is what we have here. This is the front. So let us cut the back. So for the back, I have ruled out the line the same way I did for the front. The start line, the crotch line, the knee line, and I have the hem here. So this is hem, I mean the full length, and the hem line, that's sewing allowance, bending allowance. So what I'm going to do next is to place the front part over the back part. So trace out the same shape as you have in the front. So after tracing it out, you need to add the allowances that you did not add. That will be 2 inches. From the hemming line, I mean from the full length, you add 2 inches. Then on the knee line, you add 2 inches. Then you now bring this point here to the 2 inches mark that you have and trace out the same shape. So after tracing out the same shape, the next thing to do is to shift the front a little bit to the new line that you have created here. That's 2 inches that you have created here. As you can see, that will leave this part between here and here to be 2 inches. This way, 2 inches. So you have to leave the 2 inches space. Then coming up to this crotch line, you have to mark out your 12 inches. Remember that 12.5 inches for the front. For the front crotch, I had 9.5 inches. Then for the back, it is 10.5 inches, being that half was taken from the front to the back. So from that 10.5 inches, you have to add the allowance. We had a 2 inches allowance. That will make it 2 inches plus 10.5 will be 12.5 inches. So you can mark out the crotch now. From here down there to be 12.5 inches. So you do the same thing here. 12.5 inches. Then below here, you need to mark out 1 inch for slanting, for the back slanting. So you mark out extra 1 inch here. Then you connect it with a straight ruler up here, this way. Then after connecting it up, you have to measure out 2 inches this way. So when you measure out 2 inches here, you now connect from this 2 inches point down to about 1 inch before this slanted line. So using your straight ruler, you have to connect it here. After connecting it here, this will now form your back waistline. Then the next thing for you to do is to go over to the crotch here. Then you measure out 2 or 3 inches, but for me I will take 2.5 inches. So here is where I am, 2.5 inches. Then coming down by 0.5 inches or 0.75, depending on the length of this thigh, the line here between the knee and the thigh. So after that, what you need to do is to use a straight ruler first, connect this from the knee line to this 0.75 mark that you have here. After connecting it with a straight ruler, you can now use your free hand to curve it out. Don't make it too puffy. So that's what you have, and you need to check if the front and the back, remember this is the knee point of the front, so you have to check it if they are aligned or if they have the same height with the back. So if it is not, you need to make adjustments, and here is where the front stops, so that when you are sewing it, it will match. So that you need to take the line, the mark from where the front stops, then connect it from there to form your back curve. Then you can take up like 1.5 or 2 inches from this point, 2 inches, so as to create your curve this way. Now we have the back crotch fully formed. So the next thing for you to do is to cut it out. Please, when you are cutting it out, don't follow this second line. Don't follow this second line. Instead, use this first one. Just follow this first line here. Cut it out this way, this way, this way, and down to the hem. So to start with, I will cut it from here. After cutting it from here, I will now show you what it looks like. So after cutting it out, this is what we have for the back. This is what we have for the back. Alright, and for the front, this is what we have for the front. So this is for the back, and this is for the front. I hope you really learned something from here. So please, if you have anything that you've learned from this video, don't forget to drop it in the comment box. And if you have any suggestion or any question, comment below. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that you'll be notified whenever I upload new video. There are many more to come. There are many more things to learn. So please stay tuned as you see the finished product of this outfit. Thank you very much.